My grocery delivery came right as ad break ended. And there was some stuff that needed to go in the freezer/fridge, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing that before I switch screens. Hello, Zon. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Dee Dee is, the brain cells have abandoned me, I'm afraid. It's been a long week with meetings happening all day, every day. There's not much brain cells left in the tank. Energy-wise, I'm okay. But brain-wise, no. And this is why I'm like, we're gonna switch Mario Kart for UMINEKO. Because I'm struggling just to do the preamble to streaming. I don't know how I'm supposed to entertain y'all driving around in circles for 3 hours. When I can barely string 2 sentences together. Hopefully I can at least read text out loud. With minimal fumbling, you never know. Ugh, goodness, though. The project's almost over? Fingers crossed, knock on wood, all of that good stuff. Tomorrow was today was supposed to be the end of it, and then the manager's like, oh no, we still need to do this, this, and this. So now there's like meetings happening tomorrow as well. I'm like, just set me free. What a great relief it will be when this is over. Just reminds me why because I did journalism/PR for schooling. This project's just reminding me why I did stay in the industry. I'm like, I don't like being busy all the time. Here and there is fine, but I don't want to be running ragged every single day, which is what I'm doing with this project. So it's like, nope, never again. I say as though I have a choice, but you know. My brain. Let's see, trying to think. What have I been up to today? Not much. My lunch break has been all over the place. Oh, that's right. My grocery delivery. It's Clementine season because Christmas, right? Apparently, I did a grocery delivery. Apparently, the cashier did not scan the oranges. So the delivery guy's like, sorry, I couldn't get you your oranges because they closed the transaction. I'm like, God damn it. I was looking forward to that. I didn't do a grocery delivery just for the oranges, but I ordered a whole, little crate of oranges. Not the oranges, right? I was like, oh, I'm doing a grocery delivery. I can order the crate of oranges because, trying to take a crate of oranges on a bus can be a real pain in the butt. So I'm like, oh. It's like, this wasn't... The oranges weren't the reason I made this order. But I was really happy to take advantage of somebody having a car to do... Now I'm like, no! My oranges! Especially this time of year with, the crates. I eat so many, my fingernails start turning yellow. from like just peeling so many. I'm like, oh, I was looking forward to this. Oh well. There'll be more oranges. But yeah, I was like, darn it. It is what it is, but yeah. Pain and suffering. I just wanted my oranges. Got the rest of my stuff at least. I was a little worried. Because, you know, sometimes when stuff's on sale and it's stuff you regularly get, that's nice. But then, like, you know, everything's sold out. I'm scrolling through the app, they're like, sold out, sold out. I'm like, please. This is like the main ingredient in the go-to stuff I make during the work week. It's like, please let there be some, and they did manage to get some at least. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Do I have other recipes? Sure. But everything's expensive, and you know, the cheapest protein sources you can buy are canned fish, chicken, some types of pork if you're lucky, because not every place carries like stuff like ground pork, and like tofu. So when everybody's buying up all the chicken, I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do? Literally every recipe that's my go-to uses chicken. I haven't. I mean, I've definitely had ground beef in the, like, recently, but I don't. It's been years since I bought that stuff on my own. My whole compromise with, like, the fact that I can't be vegetarian because of my health issues was, going to buy the animal products that have the smallest green footprint, and apparently that is fish, then chicken, then pork. God, related to that, it'll be interesting to see where the Apothecary Diaries goes in subsequent seasons. Now you might be like, that's a weird transition, Diana. Where I am in the reading in the light novels, Mao Mao is trying to become a proper doctor, so she's learning dissection, and of course, in like, I guess in Confucianism or just that time period, you weren't really allowed to do dissections unless, like, you know, a criminal was executed, and even then it was super hush-hush. So they're all doing it on animals. And there's a scene where they literally have to catch the chickens and break their necks before they get down to business. And I'm like, I don't even know how that'll be in the anime. I'm sure they're not gonna mention the fact that, you know, Mao Mao just went and broke a chicken's neck, but, like, yeah. Sounds like quite a process. It is! She dissects a bear at some point. I'm just like, I'm reading this like, wow, this is crazy. Hi, Art! Sleep tight, good night. Okay, goodbye. You know what? Fair enough. It's your go-to phrase. Good night. You came in just as I was talking about how in the light novels in Apothecary Diaries, Mao Mao, the main girl, is learning, like, dissection and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna be in the anime. Maybe you should eat at 7 p.m.? Oh, your sleep schedule, my boy. Your sleep schedule is le toasty. You know, at this point, I'm more surprised when you sleep at a normal hour. Y'all need to get this stuff together before you become adults in the working world, or you're gonna have a bad time. You've still got a couple of years, give or take. Wow. So I'm setting up UMINEKO on the other screen. And for once I remember to click load instead of like start chapter kind of thing. But then the game froze for a second and I'm like, wow. Is this what happens? This game hates me, I guess. Being backed up on schoolwork, oof. Oof. Too many lab reports and stuff, I guess. It's okay, I understand. I was just talking about how the whole reason I did the switcheroo is because I've had all-day meetings this entire week. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't know how to talk anymore. I don't know if I could entertain y'all talking, chit-chatting while driving in a circle for 3 hours. Like, so I need something. It's like, we're gonna change the content around, so, you know, it's something where I don't really need to think too much. I can just read and react. Oh, hell no. Oh, it's horrible, man. Something interesting happened? Something good interesting? You joined a school club? Is it the anime club? That's the only club I was in. God. Talking about the anime club just reminds me, the room they assigned us for gaming club, but an extreme extrovert pulled me on a side quest. Yeah, that happens sometimes. God, talking about school clubs reminds me, because the room that got assigned to us as the anime club at my university, it had a glass wall, and the glass wall overlooked like a whole bunch of study tables, and of course the projector's at the front of the classroom. And I forget what anime everyone wanted to watch, and I'm like, guys, I don't think we should watch this. They're like, why not? And I just turned to look at all of the people at the study tables. I'm like, you really want to put this niche material on a big freaking screen for all these people to see? It's like, at least wait, because, like, you know, the club was, like, from, like, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday night, something like that. Like, at least wait until, like, you know, after 9 p.m., because most people are gonna, if they're still studying, they're gonna go back to their house or their dorm or whatever, because, you know, the latest classes go is, like, 9 p.m. or something like that. JRPG Mario Party kind of game. Interesting. I'm trying to think what the title is, but yeah. My social level is never gonna get up there. Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I put a stream on the schedule tentatively for tomorrow because technically tomorrow is supposed to be the office Christmas party, and I was like, I'll put it on the schedule in case I don't decide to go. And then after having all-day meetings all this week, I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not gonna have a day of, like, I'm not gonna end my week with all-day meetings and then go to, like, a 2-3 hour social get-together with strangers in a restaurant. I'm like, no. It's like, I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, but I'm like, I think this is too big a step when I have zero energy. And this is how you know I'm a true introvert. It's not just the social anxiety, because being around large groups of people does not energize me. It drains the battery. Small groups, I'm fine. I've noticed once it starts getting over, like, 5, I'm like, no. If there's, like, one person in the group I can kind of zero in on and, like, sort of hug them to myself a little bit, then I manage. But, like, you know, if, like, it's a group and, like, no one wants to engage me in one-on-one conversations or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. I'm toast. I'm toast, man. Last time that happened, I was able to ask this guy that was with us, because this was at the Ren Fair. I was able to just ask him questions about his dog. Like, oh, this is nice and convenient. Thank you for the conversation starter. Like, what's the pupper's name? It's like, how old is he? Like, oh, he's really cute. He's, like, really well, like, trained. Usually dogs make me kind of anxious, but, like, I don't feel that way with this guy. Can I take pictures? And yes, hello, Jambola. I don't know if I said hello. I was, like, straight in the middle of yapping away. But yeah, Art, if you find the game, that's great. If you don't, no worries. You can always ask the next time you go. That's nice, though. You're gonna find it. You're gonna find it. They've got a mission. Dokapon? You might be right looking at the images. Damn, Jambola. Jambola's good. The man knows 1,000 video games. Alright. Game should be set up on the other screen. I am gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I did get a chance to go before starting stream because grocery delivery. And then we'll get going. Rosa is still, you know, being tortured. Rest in peace, Rosa. Alright. Un momento. I will be right back. Meow. I apparently forgot to mute the mic, but that's okay. Alrighty, here we go. This Game Boy, not the Game Boy. Had a nice conversation with him. Being super loud, yeah, don't worry. Go. Alright, hopefully that's better. Yeah, we had to crank it up for Detective Instinct. Thankfully, you had your headphones at a reasonable volume for once. Ah, yes. Once a year, your Oshi has to test your hearing for you by blasting a game at full volume and seeing what happens. Alrighty. So yes, rest in peace, Rosa. I believe this was at the end of her being, like, sank into an ocean of jelly. And literally, she just kept sinking deeper and deeper and deeper until, you know, the pressure, crushed her lungs and she turned into a meatball. And then Beatrice, Ava Beatrice is like, yay! And snapped her fingers and, like, turned her back to normal. Terrible. This is like a terror. This is probably one of the worst murders in this game. Not because it's particularly gruesome, but because this Rose is just being tortured at this point. Like, just because you can bring someone back to life doesn't mean, you're undoing the pain you inflicted. She returned to her original form. It was as simple and easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it. Yeah, but seaweed's not the same once you rehydrate it. If they were a witch anyway, that absent-minded look on Rosa's face has to be joy from having that dream she gave up on as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Probably not. I don't think being tortured is, like, you know... Next is the mountain of cake. Oh, God. In an instant, the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of the chessboard. Oh, so what's Maria doing in all of this? She's just been watching her mother, like, drop from the sky and, like, splatter on the pavement and then, like, drown in an ocean of jelly and stuff. Good luck, Diana. Thank you, Amadis. That almost transparent white part was her favorite rare cheesecake. The elegant black part was the slightly bitter gâteau au chocolat. They became the ceiling. That became the ceiling. Became a mountain. And several billion cakes were thrown down towards Rosa. Oh, yeah. Well. Rest in peace. If you pile those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed... I'm not too sure, but I'll bet it was heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. At least a few 100 pounds, then. Yup. What a surprise! It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up. So, as a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. Less than a second, bones broke through her body and her insides were all smashed and forced out. Ew! Why you gotta describe that? So an even greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. Oh my god. She became as thin as a single hair and was probably spread out over the area of a tennis court. Jesus. The world swallowed up by a cake was once again absorbed by a gold flash. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. But at that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they are born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she'd gone through that which humans cannot, the precious experience of dying more than once. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Next is the butterflies. Look! Mercy! No way! Let's play more! Let's play more! God. Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa as she begged for mercy. I don't think she's innocent. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly, and gold wings sprouted from her back, and she joined her fellow gold butterflies. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind, and she spun in circles around the rose garden. Oh, there she goes! As her dance wore her out, she was caught by a gentle bed. It was a soft knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. Oh, that's a spider web. Hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guest who had wandered in on the night of a storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa. Well, hope you're not scared of spiders, girl. Yup. What a klutz! You got caught in a spider's web. Those teeth are menacing. Goodness. This time, it's a dance with a spider. That takes me back. Remember the time we find a spider's web and play around by throwing pebbles at it? I've heard that spiders don't chew their prey, but insert their venom, and when the inside parasites melt into a sticky soup, they suck them out. Yep. Hey, Rosa, remember? Remember how we throw butterflies into the spider's web on purpose? And play around by seeing how the spider would attack? Kids are crazy. I guess you don't remember, do you? This happened before you got into grade school. Make sure you watched closely this time, okay? No thank you. Have mercy, Nason! Help me, Nason! Oof. Ah, this girl's not bad. She can truly use magic at will. Amusing. How truly amusing. You feel like laughing too, right? Of course not. Don't fuck with me! Stop it already! What's so fun? You're insane! What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having a blast? What do you expect? Magic is fun. Especially if you like torturing people, I guess. I remember when I first became able to use magic, I played around a lot. I understand. I understand that kind of game from the bottom of my heart. Look, I won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, Battler. Ah, what a shame, what a shame. If you accept me, I'll teach you magic anytime you want. See? Doesn't even have the aptitude for it. It's hard to describe the joy you receive in the instant you're freed from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it, that joy, that passion. I'd definitely like to see the world of magic you'd give birth to just once. Well, that's not foreshadowing. Isn't this starting to get fun? You started wanting to use magic, haven't you? It's pretty fun to be a witch, isn't it? Just for you, I'll teach everything. About the joy of flying together in the sky, about the joy of diving together through the sea. I want to show you the passion that starts the instant you surpass the bounds of humans and see how wide the world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun? There was no malice in Beato's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was generally enjoying this cruel show. And she wanted to share that appreciation with Battler. Battler was shocked by that hopelessly different sense of values. You're insane! Stop it already! Virgilia, make them stop! What should I do? We exist outside the board. We cannot touch the board itself. Virgilia shook her head apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Did that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Battler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Quit messing around, witch! Are you trying to tell me that's Aunt Ava? It's possible. Aunt Ava, I know, might be a bit mean at times, but it's completely impossible that she's the kind of person who would do something this cruel. This is all part of your deception. Don't toy with Aunt Rosa. Don't toy with Aunt Ava. Stop this farce right now. that you have to squeal like that? You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic and— Ow! What are you doing? For the first time, Battler slapped her cheek. Beatrice didn't know why he had done something like that to her, and a surprised expression rose to her face. Battler especially couldn't forgive that expression, and he roared. You call this amusing? What's wrong with your head? Die! Go slice your head to bits and look inside. You'll see there's nothing there. Stop it right now. Stop this disgusting farce. I won't forgive you. How could you do something so cruel? I've sometimes thought you could be a bit funny, but I'll never make that mistake again. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk to you. I don't even want to look at your face. Did you hear me? Don't show yourself in front of me. Disappear! Oh, he does have some aptitude for magic then. He summoned a barrier. The instant Battler screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Nieto back onto her butt. Ow! What are you talking about? Isn't it an interesting show? She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Battler, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beatrice looked displeased and continued trying to explain herself. It's not as though I'm completely blind to where you're coming from, but this is nothing more than an innocent prank, isn't it? No matter how you kill them, they'll always be brought back to life at the end, right? I thought humans were creatures who say all's well that ends well. Hey, teacher. There's no reason for him to get so angry, right? She was hoping for approval, but Virgilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To Beato at that moment, even an exasperated look probably would have been better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I will vanish until then. Following Battler's lead, Virgilia vanished into the darkness. Beato, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt that they were making her out to be the bad guy. You are the bad guy! What are you talking about? What's wrong? Isn't it an amusing show? It might be a little vulgar, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Beatrice likes Splatterhouse movies. Apparently. Hey, Bruno? It's nothing to get so mad about, right? Something interesting for you, milady, may not necessarily be interesting for Battler-sama. Does he really hate me that much? Well, generally you don't yell die to someone that you don't hate, you know? Well, certainly we are enemies and opponents in this competition, but is our relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at this display? I see you were raised grief. Since I applauded together with Battler, I thought I could at least laugh with him. Two different things. Applauding something good, very different than this. Like, I know it's hard for you. I love how tactless she is. She literally does not get it. Like, at all. And I mean, literally, some people who have been raised in, like, you know, the ivory tower, as the expression goes, they really have no idea how awful they are sometimes, or how out of touch they are. I remember reading a story on Tumblr about someone who had a roommate at, like, the school dorm who had been like a super rich girl, and like she generally thought towels, like, you know, terry cloth bath towels were like as disposable as paper towels, because she just had no idea how laundry worked or any of that stuff. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept that I'm a witch. We're challenging each other in this game, after all. And yet, he won't look at my face. He won't talk to me. Well, you did it to yourself. I don't know what to say. This is one of those where they post on Am I the Asshole? Fully expecting to be, vindicated, and just the entire community dogpiles them. Like, look, of course you're the asshole. He'll probably do all he can to ignore me. Am I really hated that much? You've made up to this point have been more than enough to earn his hatred. Even a demon such as myself can understand a bit of Battler Sama's feelings. As they say, an eye for an eye, the whole world goes blind. Perhaps you cannot understand because you are especially thick-headed, my lady. Wow, ouch. Got him! Shut up! My 1,000 female competitor, 25 male, got angry at me because I let a bloodfest happen in our imaginary magic game. Am I the asshole for making fun of him? Additional details. The bloodfest was between, two of his close relatives. And why don't you disappear too, then? Go away! Yes, certainly. Then if you would excuse me. She's like, no, I didn't actually mean it! Even Ronald hid himself in the darkness. Beatrice was left alone. Only one in the rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with a lonely witch. Well, I mean, that's her own fault. I've said this before, that, like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, like, if you keep losing friends and acquaintances, you kind of have to look at the situation, because eventually it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, one person, whatever, they're a jerk. Second person, all right, everybody's like an asshole kind of thing. Once you start getting, like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, you kind of need to look at yourself and go, I'm the problem, aren't I? Like, I love, like, for example, I love Papa Melis. But he is very blunt, and because of that, we had a really bad relationship when I was younger. And for a long time, his hobby was, after he retired, was going around and playing bridge in different, like, small little tournaments around the province. And eventually he had to stop, because no one wanted to be his partner in, like, the games anymore. He's an asshole. And, like, yeah, like, he was like, oh, everyone's a wanker. I'm like, Dad, at this point, you're the problem here. Like, if everyone has left, you're the problem here. Like, a couple people is sure. When you basically have to give up a hobby because you've been blacklisted, you're the problem. And the fact that no one ever does is what makes them a lonely witch. Not that they're, you know, cruel or, like, enjoy casual torture. What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird? That cruel? Yes. Also, you are... I mean, okay. Yeah, you're 1,000 years old. But from my understanding, you're essentially an adult. Like, you were an adult before, like, you became the Eternal Witch and all that stuff. Me, like, why won't anybody play with me as though we're playing, in the sandbox? It's kind of crazy. They're kind of immature. Someone answer me! No, go away. Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Hey, how should we play next? Of course, we should play with Maria too, right? Oh God, I was wondering when they were gonna acknowledge her. Let's all have a friendly walk together, okay? Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate. Let's have a picnic in a cake rising oven. Hey, new Beatrice. Behind the witch that continued her mad banquet, Beato showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow restrained, unreliable, miserable. Oh, it's the predecessor Beatrice. Were you watching? The power of magic is truly wonderful. Yeah, the guy I like kind of hates my guts now, so can you stop? Like, do you mind just like reining it in a bit? Till now, I never thought it'd be so fun to be a witch. just wait for a second, okay? I cooked the two of them to death in an oven, so I have to revive them again. They're like bread rising from yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven. God. Listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough for the sacrifice of the second twilight? Of course, there are no rules regarding how we kill them, but, maybe you shouldn't toy with them any more than that. What are you saying? I heard from Ronov a short while ago. Wasn't your magic much, much more wonderful, cruel, and crazy? That Halloween party where candies poured out of 6 people's stomachs was truly wonderful. Yeah, but they died. They died and that was it. I'll invite everyone to a tea party in celebration of a completely pointless day and entertain them one by one with my magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be cruel in my own pop-cute style. What? Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? Now that I'm a witch inside one of those fairy tales, I finally understand. I have also, sometimes thought that in the past, I might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that as the Golden Witch, it's probably best to show a little elegance. I don't get what you're saying, Predecessor Summer. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I'm no match for how cruel you are. Damn. I've got to try much, much harder. Gotta become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch. Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is an order from me as your predecessor. That's enough for the second twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch. Yes, Predecessor Sama. I can't wait to see what brutal, cruel, and disgusting method of killing you use. God damn. The new witch grasped the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow. Stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Nah, girl, you just like torturing people. Well, speaking of that, you're only half a witch if you can only kill with methods like that. I shall show you an elegant way to kill, worthy of the Golden Witch. When Beato waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Beato had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths. But even so, she pleaded that her daughter be spared. Please have mercy. Even if it's just Maria, have mercy. Mama! Sorry, my disciple just, acted without restraint for a bit. Forgive me. Beatrice! When Maria Maria realized it was the real Beatrice, she jumped onto her. You promised, right, Nieto? You promised you'd take me to the Golden Land, right? There I'll be friendly with Mama and everyone will laugh together. You promised you'd take me there. About that, I can no longer keep that promise. If someone appeared who could solve the riddle, I am no longer the Golden Witch Beatrice. So sorry, I can no longer keep my promise with you. Why? Why? You promised! Sorry. Truly sorry. Or at least an apology for not being able to keep my promise. I'll give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again. Nieto embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. And softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. The redness grew bit by bit, and when it distinctly formed itself into the shape of a hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she had fallen asleep. Maria! Maria! Sorry, I won't apologize that you were the sacrifices for the second Twilight. This is simply your fate. Learn to discipline your child in a less destructive way in the future so she doesn't act out like a crate and get y'all into trouble. However, I must apologize for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This is your final sleep. Never again will it be disturbed. Nieto softly, gently lifted her finger as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. And Rosa's body softly floated, and right there was the garden fence with its spear-shaped prongs. Ooh! The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongata? That's in the brain, isn't it? Yes, it is. The lowest part of the brainstem connecting the brain to the spinal cord. Okay. Benevolently, without toying with her, in a single blow, Rosa's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. It just looked like a doll shaped like Rosa was leaning against the fence, where she had passed away. Well, something like that should do the trick. Beato acted proud, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud. It's kind of plain, not at all like the predecessor Sama Ronov told me about. Well, you must use magic with dignity, right? If it's too, undignified, that isn't very elegant. Even though you're lucky to have the magic to do wonderful things endlessly. How boring. Hey, don't complain! The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You are still incomplete until you finish the 10th Twilight. For now, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Got it? What happened to your answer? Your answer! Sure. That will do. Well, there is still much to do for the resurrection ceremony. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much, with beauty and dignity, and with at least a little restraint. Alright? But Ronov told you about how I did it. That was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. Engrave that into your heart. Yes, predecessor Sama. It's like, damn. I just wanted to just, like, fuck with my family. A good answer. Ronald, the 7 stakes of purgatory. Arise! Yes, milady. I, Ronald, am here. Lucifer of Pride, right here. Up until this point, I've been a little flashy, but, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important. And about that, as Ronov laughed at Beato's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her. Hi, Zexu, how are you? Certainly. From now on, we will be careful to act in a graceful manner suitable for the name of the Golden Witch. Even the 7 Sisters of Purgatory will reform their bad behavior up until now. And we will espouse to perform our tasks in the quickest possible manner. You, yeah? You, yeah, what? Sleepy? Did you sleep all day? Would that be acceptable, milady? I did? Oh my god. Y'all. See? I knew this was gonna happen. You're off for the whole month of December. You are not going to be able to return to normal society in January. You've already destroyed your sleep schedule. Well, it was nice knowing ya. Good luck with waking up at like 6 a.m. to go back to work. Indeed, that's it, more or less. Everyone, take it to heart, okay? Yes, certainly. That is all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly, if you would excuse me. Excuse us? Well, that's all I wanted to say. So take care as you move forward. Understand? Don't make me look bad in front of Battler. Act with dignity and, restraint. Okay? It's actually gonna suck? I have a hard enough time going back to work if I've been off for 5 days. I don't know how you're gonna do after 30. Give it your all. I will be watching over you. Acting awkward awkwardly until the very end, Vieto left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies, hiding her form in the empty air. Maybe it's more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry, because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's corpse lying down and pounded by the rain. Rosa's corpse propped up by the fence and staring up at the sky. And the figure of the witch. Show some restraint, you say. Her expression looked just a little bored. What a frickin' sadist. There was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. Ah, yes, No, I can't do it anymore. There we go. I don't know if the mic picked it up, though. What a boring person. Messed up as hell. Leaving that sentence, she vanished once again into the empty air. Yay, torture's done! Whew. Looks like she's finally calmed down. Yoshi wiped his own forehead. For a time, Ava had seemed to be having a very painful nightmare. But it appeared that she had finally been able to fall asleep. Sleep? Couldn't be the moonbeams. As promised, he still gripped Ava's hand. He thought it might be time to let go pretty soon, but he faithfully continued to hold on. Every once in a while, his hand would get tired, and he would switch between his right and his left. But even so, as promised, he did let go of her hand. At that time, there was a heavy knock. Ava had finally been able to fall asleep, so Hideyoshi grimaced for just an instant. Anaki, Hideyoshi-san, sorry. Is Rosa there? It was Rudolph's voice. What could it be? Hideyoshi headed for the door, hiding his footsteps so that he wouldn't wake Ava. It was definitely Rudolph's voice, but just in case, he opened the door without removing the chain. What is it? Something happened to Rosa-san? We can't find Rosa or Maria-chan. I thought they might be with you. I heard her scolding Maria-chan in the corridor. They got quiet after that, so I thought they'd gone back to the lobby, but did they? That idiot. Rudolph clicked his tongue. Other people could be seen in the corridor. Rosa hadn't returned for a while after going out into the corridor, so they began to worry. Near the front door, Natsuki pointed at the unset chain. The chain isn't set. They must have gone outside to see that rose after all. How extraordinarily careless to go out and leave the door unlocked. What a troublesome person. Really? That's what you have to say? I'm more worried about Rosa-san and Maria-chan themselves. Right. Hey, brats! Where was this Rose of Maria's? I'm pretty sure it was the flower bed right in the middle of the rose garden. That's where they are. We should be able to spot them pretty quickly if we go. Dad? Shouldn't we bring them back here as soon as we can? Yeah, about that. Of course. We'll bring them back and give them a good spanking. Great. I'll dash out there and come back. Lock the door as soon as I go out. Dad, I'll go with you. Don't be stupid. It's obviously a brat's job to watch over the house with a mama. What is it? Did something happen? Sorry, did I wake you up? It seems Rosa-san took Maria-chan outside. How reckless of her. Rosa and Maria-chan are outside? In the rose garden? That's right. Oh, did you hear? Maria-chan was causing a ruckus because she wanted to see this rose. They mustn't go to the rose garden. Tell Rosa to stop. But there's no telling her to stop now. It looks like they left a while ago. Seriously, how reckless of them. That's not it. Not the rose garden. There's a witch there, and she's waiting for a sacrifice. Rosa, you mustn't go! Oh! Ava cowered again, holding her head. Her complexion looked very bad. Huh? What is it? Did the fever make you dream something bad? Nah, she's psychic now. It's a dream. Yes, in the rose garden, the witch doing that to Rosa and Maria-chan. That's right. It's a dream. It must be. Okay, calm down. I'm here in this room, and the chain is set. The shutter's closed on the window, and we've even got a gun. This room is just like a fort. There's nothing to be afraid of. Nah, she's the person you should be afraid of. That's the problem. Hideyoshi beat his chest trying to calm her, but Ava's insecure expression didn't change. Under the covers, Ava kept praying. The grotesque nightmare she just seen was only a dream. Oh, as if. In the center of the rose garden, Rudolph identified the corpses of Rosa and Maria. After that, he returned to the guest house, called for help, and carried both of them into the guest house. If we can trust Nanjo's examination, sorry. I guess it's technically an explanation, but it says examination. The cause of Rosa's death was a stab to the medulla oblongata with the pointed gate of the fence. Hi, Butter! It is thought that Maria's death was due to strangling with bare hands. However, due to the devil's proof, we cannot discount a misdiagnosis. I will say it in red. Rosa and Maria died. The causes of death were as Nanjo diagnosed. She wasn't eaten by a spider, nor was she crushed by a mountain of cake. Don't worry. Hope you're having a nice Thursday. It's been pretty good. This week at the apothecary's been crazy, though. It's been meetings all day, all week long. So I'm running out of brain capacity. So it's nice to just chill with a game that doesn't require me to do any input. So you argue that even though you toyed with their deaths so much, it's all fine because the corpse is neat and clean? Getting a snow globe for your Discord? Hey, it's up to you. Gotta celebrate the season how best you want. I definitely won't forget all of that brutal treat that you gave Aunt Rosa. So, I won't forgive you. Like I said, it wasn't me. Do you have one? A snow globe? Like in Discord? No. I just have the paddle roof. Like I said, it wasn't me. I believe I gave them a much, much more peaceful death than the way she treated them. Shut the hell up. I'm not talking to you. It was stated that there are no more than 18 people on this island. Now that 8 people are already dead, we can narrow down... narrow the field of suspects down to 10. One of them probably killed those 2. Or could it also be an accidental death? Like, Maria-chan was having a tantrum, and when Rosa tried to stop her crying, she misjudged how much power she was using and accidentally killed her. That's not an accidental death. Just because you didn't mean to kill them doesn't mean it's not murder. An accidental death is like you fell down the stairs. Then she was so upset that she slipped and fell, landed on the fence, and unluckily died. How's that? That way there's no need for a witch or magic. Well, that's not quite true. Actually, Rosa and Maria. Shut up. Didn't I say I wasn't talking to you? You're an eyesore, so disappear. You monster. Adler said that without rage, but with a horribly cold voice. That strange behavior was something Beato had noticed right off the bat. In a fight, both of them could go at each other without restraint. However, he wouldn't even step into the ring. She could feel that coldness. Beato didn't find that amusing. She thought about flaring up, but she held back. Maybe, even though she was innocent and childish, she had enough sense to realize that she shouldn't pick fights. Is that so? Then I'll vanish. Ronald, continue for me. Certainly. Will that be satisfactory, Battler-sama? There are no problems with her proposal. If Battler-kun doesn't want to see Pieto's face, perhaps that will do. Do what you'd like. If I can live without seeing that monstrous face, I don't care about anything else. monster, monster, but isn't that a cruel way to speak of me? How do you instinctively hate me so much? Even though none of that was me, even though it was all the work of my disciple. It's not like I'm only mad about what happened just now. Editing a Tokyo Christmas profile picture, oh my god. It's been like that from the very beginning. Hey, Battler. Don't misunderstand, okay? Aren't we just a pair of players confronting each other through a game? We look for moves to make things painful for each other, but don't get the wrong idea. I don't hate you because you're my rival in this strange game about whether I accept you as a witch or not. I just can't forgive how senselessly cruel you are. Well, serial murders are a part of this game. She's like, look, it's in the rules, okay? It's probably impossible to avoid a little cruelty. I'm not just talking about what just happened. There was the last time. And the time before that, too. Tearing everyone's stomachs open and stuffing them with sweets, plowing their faces. What was the point of all that? That's... Well, hi Dracon, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Too many meetings this week. My brain is dead. I'm doing my best, though. It's almost Friday. When it comes, do you stay strong? I sure am trying. They promised this project would be done by next week, but I don't trust them anymore. I think I'm gonna be stuck for another week. I guess we'll find out. When it comes to closed room murders and tricks and alibis, I'm willing to give you a pass. You want to claim that this is a murder done by magic. Hope the overtime pays well. Overtime? There's no overtime. This is just my workday being consumed. Want to claim that this is a murder done by magic, so I'll grudgingly accept that those complicated crimes need to occur. I feel that pain to the core. Oh yeah. I mean, I have done overtime work this year, and the pay was good, but yeah, this is not. They try to avoid the overtime pay to like the full extent of their ability, but yeah. It was like, I get into work at 8:30ish. There was a meeting that was scheduled last minute at like 8:45 that I missed because I was checking my emails. And then they set up another at 11. And that went like, you know, until 12:30, and they're like, okay, you can go for lunch. But we're gonna have, then there was another meeting at 1:30, and then another at 2. And that finally wrapped up at like 3. And then someone was like, can we meet? Can we have another meeting? And I'm like, if you must. And they're like, you know what? No, we'll wait until the morning. And I'm like, thank God. one of those days where it's like you only get halfway through your lunch before your lunch break ends, and you're like, well, guess that's all I'm eating today. You know, it's like, they're like, oh yeah, can we have a meeting before this other meeting to discuss the stuff that we're gonna discuss in this meeting with other people? It's like, you're the boss, I guess. But what exactly is the point of all those grotesque murders? Well, nothing much. Wrong answer. That's right. They don't mean anything. They're just fooling around by mangling corpses for fun. That has nothing to do with whether you're a witch or whether it could or couldn't be done with magic. You're just exploring the depths of cruelty for fun. Isn't about whether you're a witch or anything like that. There are just some things I can't forgive as a human. What do you mean as a human? He means what he means. For example, the 6 people of the first Twilight for this game. Well, other than Grandfather being burned black, the other corpses were killed in a normal way, without any unnecessary shaming of the dead. It wasn't clear whether the weapon was a spear or a gun, but anyway, as far as killing goes, that was acceptable. It was much better than the nonsensical grotesque and cruelty from the first Twilight last time, or the time before that. And this time, there were 6 closed rooms tied together to make a closed room chain. That was sort of interesting. When we were going back and forth with each other that time, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was just a little fun. You were frantic to make me accept your existence, and I was frantic trying to deny it. We were both frantically doing all we could. This may sound weird, but I felt a faint sense of sportsmanship between the two of us. We exist in a conflict, but I faintly thought that we might not be completely unable to understand each other's existence. But just now, that feeling was blown away without a trace. That's what you're misunderstanding. That wasn't me. That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. You watched Aunt Rosa being killed horribly over and over, and you sneered at it like it was an interesting show. When I saw that, I was deeply disappointed in you. When I realized that your decision to kill them in a slightly better way this time was nothing more than a faint whim. Capybara! Yay! Capybara! I love capybaras. And that nothing had changed in your cruel character. I was deeply disappointed. On the contrary, you were genuinely enjoying those brutal deaths. You weren't just acting as cruel as you could to bully me. You were genuinely, truly enjoy cruelty. Your character lets you enjoy it. You said I'd probably think that Aunt Rosa being brutally killed over and over was fun, You weren't joking. You enjoyed it from the bottom of your heart, wanted me to sympathize, and said that I'd probably think it was fun. In that instant, I lost respect for you. And I realized the truth. The problem isn't whether you're a witch or not. I will not forgive that cruelty of yours. And I can't understand it. I can't forgive it either. Still, I'll continue this game of whether to accept or deny the witches. I won't step down and accept my own defeat. However, your pointless cruelty is absolutely unnecessary for that game. So I've decided that I won't accept you as my opponent. Ronov is 100 times better. Damn. Rest in peace, They picked the servant over you. He doesn't have the same cruel hobby you do. I don't know about that. Do you really think he's better? Like bro's a demon here. Even if he doesn't have the awful taste to show it off in front of me. There you go. It's like at least he keeps it behind closed doors. That's right. You have awful taste. You're heartless. You're heartless and cruel, so you can't understand. That's unpleasant in an opponent. So I don't want to see your face again. As Badler went on and on by himself, Beato was shocked into silence for a long time. Maybe she couldn't understand what she was being told. And this was a sign that she was doing all she could to understand. For a while, she kept switching between angry expressions, frustrated expressions, bold expressions. As though she herself didn't know what attitude she should take. In the end, she made her face into a candid expression, as though she had come to her senses, and shrugged her shoulders as though she was tired. In that case, do as you like. From now on, I will continue this game through Ronov. You have no complaints as long as I don't show myself, right? For the time being. But I definitely won't forgive all your cruel actions up until now. And I definitely won't accept you. For that reason as well, I won't back down from this fight you've picked. And I definitely won't lose. That's all there is to it. Beato, no matter how many more excuses you give, his impression will not waver. I have something to talk about later. Until then, stay back. Indeed. Understood. Then I'll vanish until you call. Looking lonely, Beato turned her back and then vanished. Battler watched, a slightly displeased expression on his face. He thought his argument had been valid, but for some reason, his mood didn't clear up. Well, I mean, you don't automatically feel better just because, you know, you made the person leave. It doesn't make what happened go away. She's an idiot. That's true. An idiot and a straightforward one. That idiot watched Aunt Rosa get killed horribly with me. Then turned around with a huge smile on her face. She really believed that she could laugh with me at that cruel show. She really believed that I could sympathize with that emotion. Looking at that innocent smile, I felt just horrible. It would have been much better if she'd said it with her normal bullying face. Damn it. Milady has never had the experience of having a friend. In addition, she probably never had something spoken to her that strongly. Madame and I are her attendants. No matter what we say, it will not reach her ears. For Milady, this is also. Don't screw with me. I don't remember ever becoming her friend. That's true enough. My apologies. There is one thing that I would like to thank you for. Thank you for not backing down from that child's game. She spoke words of gratitude, but for some reason, Battler made a displeased face. Then, as though in self-derision, he chuckled. Now that I've even got witches and demons thanking me, I'm screwed. Let's resume the game. Of course, I don't intend to go easy on you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Unlike Milady, I do not get agitated. I've already made my move. If we suppose that Aunt Rosa is the culprit and died in an accident, I can't deny the witch. I don't want to suspect Aunt Rosa. But I think I can bear to accept that premise if it'll beat the hell out of Beato. There's this sense that Ronalf and Virgilia are her servants and not quite her equals. That is correct. Virgilia being Beato's servant is a little off, though. Like, she's acting like she is, and I mean, but she was Beato's teacher. I mean, she gave all that power to Beatrice and she lost to Beatrice in a match, but technically she is someone Beatrice should listen to. And that would automatically put her in a higher station. But yeah, it's a little weird, but whatever. I will deny it with red. Rosa and Maria's deaths were homicides. Okay. Haven't eaten all day? Go eat! Go eat, boy! No wonder you're exhausted. You know not eating can make you faint and make you sleepy and not just hungry, right? Don't you have an iron deficiency anemia like I do? You should not be skipping meals. Okay, let's start from there. Damn it. I'm just not getting fired up. Well, I mean, when you're pissed, sometimes it's hard to light the fire. Rosa and Maria's deaths, it was now clear that the culprit was still hiding somewhere. Surprised you're still alive! Don't say that! Do better! Oh my god! Don't say something like that so casually. Take care of your health, buddy. This stuff does catch up to you eventually. It was now clear that the culprit was still hiding somewhere, trying to add even more murders to this chain. As he shed tears, Rudolph scolded Rosa's corpse for being reckless several times. Oh my god. Is this the first time, like, Rudolph has, like, cried over one of the deaths? That's crazy. These people are showing emotion? Every time you say that, my heart drops because your voice always comes back to haunt me. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to scare you. But I do worry about you guys. That's why I'm the Nason, right? I do worry about you guys sometimes when you're making questionable life choices. They decided to place the two corpses in one of the guest rooms and to seal it until the police arrived. The second murder, no, the murder of the second Twilight had delivered a heavy blow to everyone. It had blown away the optimism that some of them had held, the thought that a crime didn't actually occur. And it was all a game or farce by Kinzo and the servants. Trying to distract themselves from the loss of the people they liked. George and Jessica had spent the whole time since morning talking about every possibility. And they had distracted their hearts by supposing that these murders might actually have all been an act. That Shannon and Kanon were only pretending to be dead. When the next murder occurred, it destroyed that thought. They were once again struck by the fact that the person they liked most definitely had been killed. The tears that they thought had died away began to drip down once more. And Badler couldn't think of anything to say to them. After that, All of the adults checked that all the rooms were safe and locked, just in case. They made certain that the shutters on all the windows were down and locked. And they confirmed that no one suspicious was hiding anywhere. On top of that, they checked their weapons once more and checked with each other to make sure they were mentally prepared so that they wouldn't hesitate to fire off a preemptive shot if they saw the shadow of a mysterious person. Rosa's gun had been found near the scene of the crime. Someone had gone out of their way to leave it there, so everyone suspected that it was some kind of trap. Peak track? Oh yeah! I like it when this song comes up. This is like... There's a lot of video game music that doesn't work out of context, which is fine, because, you know, it's music meant to accompany the game. But this is a good one. This is one you could use outside. Like, you could use this in a movie. You could use this, like, just as something to listen to. I mean, it's a little dark just to do homework to, but I don't know. Maybe you're into that. But when Hideyoshi delicately used a fire iron to fire off test shots, it was able to discharge without incident. That is... Bro, you're lucky you're not dead. Somehow they managed to, pull the trigger on this shotgun, using a poker. So since the 5 shots loaded into it had discharged without any problems, they reloaded it with bullets and handed it over to the only adult male who wasn't armed, Hideyoshi. However, the fact that it had been able to fire off 5 shots gave rise to a certain paranoia. This short-barreled Winchester could only hold 5 shots. In other words, Rosa hadn't even fired once. And yet, the two had been killed by someone with their bare hands. This meant there was a possibility that the crime had been committed by someone whose face they knew. When the first murder occurred, I privately thought of the possibility that this was all an act. My apologies to Dr. Nanjo, but if he had actually been an accomplice, I thought the deaths of all the servants might possibly have been a massive, elaborate act by Father. After all, the closed room situation they were in couldn't have been created unless we suppose that it was all an act. We also suspected that. No, I still want to believe that's the case. My apologies, but that is not so. I am quite old. I might possibly make a misdiagnosis. However, I would never mistake whether they were alive or dead. I get it! Don't go out of your way to say it out loud! They had no way of knowing. But Bieto had already used the red to proclaim the deaths of the six. No, the deaths of all the victims of the game so far. This faint dream that it was all a farce, that the victims were actually alive. I'm sorry to say, but that's impossible. In that case, it makes more sense to assume it's someone familiar with the mansion. Someone hiding around and carrying out a really well-polished crime. Oh, that's fucked up, man. So, ever since the typhoon came to the island and sealed it off from the outside world, there's been more than 18 people here. Of course, there was no way for them to know about that either. That claim of Rudolph's had also been denied in red. There are no more than 18 humans on this island. I might have a way to look at it that keeps things consistent, at least a little. Simply put, this person in hiding is someone who shouldn't really be on this island right now. And yet, there's a likelihood that they were someone Rosa-san knew, someone she'd let her guard down around. So, for example, a servant who wasn't on this 2-day shift? It's hard to be certain about that one. When our servants finish their work and leave the island, it is as though we punch their ticket or something to make sure. If we're supposing that a servant on a ship from a few days ago only pretended to leave the island and actually stayed here, that would be hard to deny. I don't think Rosa-san is such a fool. If a servant who wasn't supposed to be here popped up in front of you, who wouldn't be on their guards? I'm not even sure we should be assuming that it was someone she recognized. Maybe they suddenly attacked Rosa from the darkness and were about to steal her gun. Then Rosa fell, hit her head against the fence, and stopped moving. The guest house was nearby, and they wanted to avoid the sound of gunfire, so they killed Maria-chan with their bare hands. There's also that possibility. Still, even if that's the case, would they really intentionally leave Rosa's gun at the scene of the crime? We don't know what the culprit's armed with, but they've got to feel insecure about our guns. That's cute. I've never heard someone use insecure in that way before. Worried, sure. Scared, sure. Insecure? What is this? An ego measuring contest? Like... Wasn't that a perfect chance for them to thin out our supply? Why would they intentionally leave it at the scene of the crime? At first, I thought that gun was a trap. That's what chessboard thinking says it should be. By purposely leaving it, they want to make one of us touch it. And they must have wanted to make us pull the trigger. I was sure that something dangerous had been done to it, to make it explode and cause massive injuries. But it was actually okay. The culprit probably panicked. I'll bet that right now they're regretting they missed their chance to steal a gun. This guy holding the gun is the scariest thing. Everyone else looks kind of silly with the guns. This guy looks like a mobster. Which is funny because he's technically the nicest of them all. I don't like it. It ticks me off. It's like it's a message from the witch saying she isn't even scared of guns. However, in any event, this is truly a fearsome opponent. Even at a glance, they should have been able to tell that Rosa had a gun. To think that they attacked her despite that. The fact that they are unafraid of guns should not be taken lightly. Indeed. It's as Natsuhi says, we should probably be even more cautious than we have been. This is just for peace of mind, but... At the time, we think Rosa-san was attacked outside. Where was everyone? Natsuhi and I were here, along with Rudolph and Kirie-san. I can guarantee their alibis. Ava and I were together. I can guarantee that. George, Aniki, Jessica, and I were together. When Aunt Rosa yelled at us to return to the second floor, we retraced our steps back to the cousin room, all dejected. Back then, if we hadn't let Valeria go, saying that isn't going to change anything. Dr. Nanjo? I was reading a book in a room on the second floor. I was by myself, so no one could verify my alibi. But I believe everyone saw me return to the second floor with the children. Once I say this, it'll never end. But what if you jumped out the window, attacked Rosa, then climbed back up using a rain gutter or something? You think that guy's that agile? Don't be absurd! How could I perform a feat such as jumping down from the second story or climbing up with his whole body? Let us stop suspecting each other. It's more important that we trust each other, and for the children's sake as well, defend this place until the very end. You're right. It's like Natsuhi-san says. For now, let's stop suspecting each other. That's right. We may be useless as far as searching for the culprit is concerned. We can only stay alive until tomorrow, inform the police, and follow their instructions. Because the police will definitely expose who the culprit is. You got a lot of faith in law enforcement, huh? Oh no, maybe if it's the detectives from Higurashi, you guys stand a chance, but I don't know. What is it, Ava? Is your body still feeling bad? Mother, what's wrong? Are you okay? Sorry. It looks like my fever is still strong. I'll be fine, so leave me alone. When they looked, they saw Ava staring at the floor, her breathing harsh again. She had been able to act firm for a time due to the urgency of their situation, but it seemed that her body wasn't at its best after all. Yeah! I killed those two! Now we're the only ones who know about the gold. I won't give up even a scrap to the other siblings. What have you done? There was so much of that gold, right? Giving Rosa and the others their share wouldn't have been a problem at all, right? It would. That gold is to be passed on only to the head of the Ushinomiya family, you greedy little booger. That's because it as a whole represents no more or less than the honor of the head. To wound that even a tiny bit is definitely not something that I, the new Golden Witch Beatrice, will permit. Okay, Satan. Do you plan to continue these murders according to the witch's epitaph? Supposedly she has to if she wants to properly become a witch. Do you actually plan to become a murderer 5 more times? Yeah. If I don't finish this annoying ceremony, it seems my power as a witch won't be complete. Crazy. Hey, me. Oh, it's Ava talking to Ava. I see. I thought it was Battler, like, going after her. But nah, she's just having an argument with herself. I see. The power of the witch is really awesome. It really can make all the crazy things we imagine become reality. The power to make dreams more now that I've learned of this power, I can no longer stop being a witch. If I can finish the ceremony and make my power complete, I'm sure I'll be able to teach you that feeling as well. Stop acting like a fool. Haven't you played at being a witch enough? We found the gold. And we've been promised a position of the successor. We'll probably need to walk a tightrope just a bit, but now that's a dream that will definitely come true. You're being a gremlin? Fair enough. Enjoy your gremlining. But now that's a dream that will definitely come true. Beyond that, what more could you wish for? I wanted to become a witch. I don't give a damn about that dream. That's right. Because I kept holding on to that dream, I've lived at this age forever. When you became an adult, you threw that dream away. No matter how long you wait, the rabbit holding a clock won't visit you. Can you tell Ava Beatrice became a fan favorite? Oh yeah, I mean, I knew about Ava Beatrice even before playing the game. Like, I couldn't make sense of how she was a thing. But, like, I had already seen this design a long time ago. Her and Maria are, like, super popular outside of the fandom. Then you won't be able to meet Humpty Dumpty. Of course, you definitely won't be invited to the land of cards. I thought that said the land of crabs for a second. I thought we were gonna have a crab rave. Because you gave up and accepted all that, you became an adult. Gotta stay young at heart, got it. So you don't want to become a witch or anything like that anymore. You've even forgotten that it truly was your dream at one point. Anyway, stop it! I've already gotten my hands on 2 dreams. The gold and the position of the head. That's more than enough. So please, your dream has nothing to do with me. Stand down! No way! Magic's too interesting. Also, those 2 dreams of yours both came true because of my magic. Damn. It's like, I own you now. It wouldn't be fair if my dream didn't come true, too. I'm grateful for your magic, and I acknowledge that you're a real witch. So just stand down and return to the inside of my heart, and never appear again. No way. We're both misunderstanding each other, aren't we? That's right. I am not you anymore. You are Ushino Mia Ava. I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. So, it's not my responsibility to go back inside your heart. Too bad. I guess I feel like a butterfly who's broken out of their cocoon. meaning you. Well, she's having a bad time. Ugh, this fever is making my mind cloudy. My inexperience with the magical power is forcing me support it with your vitality, is forcing me to support it with your vitality. Typos. Till I finish the ceremony and become a full witch, you might have to bear the burden. Then just stab yourself, Ava. Problem solved. I'll take that as payment for making 2 of your dreams come true. It's fine, don't worry, okay? For the remaining 5 sacrifices, I'll avoid your family. Let's see, Rudolph, Kirie, Klaus, Nasuhi. After that, what about that old geezer Nanja? Perfect, I'll kill those 5 people. Could you call this murder announcement revealed only to you? Oh, there she goes! Ava finally crouched down. Hideyoshi rushed up to her and lent her his shoulder. Are you okay? Let's take it easy and rest. You alright? Dr. Nanjo, take a look at Ava. When Nanjo and George tried to approach, Ava made a gesture to stop them. Thank you. I'm fine, Dr. Nanjo. I'm taking medicine. I apologize for saying this during an extreme situation, but let me rest a little longer. Mom, I'll lend a hand too. Thank you, but I'll be fine as long as your father watches over me. Go back to the 2nd story cousin room and don't come out no matter what. Understood? No matter what happens, you must not leave the guest house. Outside, that witch will... Just don't talk anymore. Sorry, everyone, but I'll be watching over Ava in our room. Tell us if something happens. Hideyoshi and Ava retreated from the lobby. However, Ava wasn't the only one who wasn't feeling good. They hadn't gotten a wink of sleep since the previous night, and had been pressed by tension since that morning. They were mustering all their energy to protect their families. But if they relaxed even a little, surely everyone would be down and out. Well, that would be terrible. Alright. That looks like a perfect place to stop for the night. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da. So, we had UMINEKO on the schedule for tomorrow. We'll see how I am feeling, because like I said, I ended up picking this today because my brain is fried from all of my meetings. I needed something empty-headed. So we'll see how I feel after another day of hopefully only one meeting. Alrighty. Boop, 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 boop. Excuse me, let me save. And then let's see who we can raid. Alrighty, there we go. Raid. Who's streaming? Oh my god! Starry Bunny Boy is playing UMINEKO as well, but they are in the answer arc, so that is definitely spoilers. Let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe with your arms. Let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go see Meep. Meep, Meep. She's playing American Truck Simulator again. Can this gay drive? Probably not. I can't drive either. Alrighty, here is a raid. Here's Discord. And if you're feeling fanciful, here's merch for the holiday season. For now, that is gonna be it for me. Alrighty, so if it's daytime where you are, have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the stream, I'm glad. And if it's nighttime, have a great rest when you head on off to bed. Until next time, take care of yourself, wash your face, brush your teeth, eat a good food, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye! Bye-bye-bye-bye!